So for our leadoff story this week, we're going to be talking about Chainalysis getting sued. I'm using The Rage as a source here. They summarized it pretty well. And Celsius Network, led by debtors, is suing Chainalysis for propping up a fraudulent $3.3 billion audit of the platform that misled customers and investors. So the article begins, Celsius Network LLC was a cryptocurrency platform that promised customers up to 18% yield on deposits, marketing its native CEL coin. The platform imploded in the cryptocurrency liquidity squeeze of 2022, revealing a massive Ponzi scheme in which Celsius founders were artificially inflating the price of CEL while dumping their personal holdings on the platform's customers. Celsius Network has since been taken over by debtors appointed by New York's bankruptcy court tasked with recovering customer and investor funds. The debtors, led by VanEck Absolute Return Advisors Corporation, a subsidiary of the investment firm VanEck Associates, are now suing the blockchain surveillance firm Chainalysis for helping Celsius prop up the value of its platform to mislead customers and investors. This adversary proceeding is about how Chainalysis knowingly and willfully fueled one of the biggest cons in cryptocurrency history, deceiving customers, propping up a sham company, and accelerating Celsius's catastrophic collapse, the complaint states. At the center of the lawsuit stands an audit of Celsius's assets under management, for which the platform cooperated with Chainalysis. According to the audit, the platform had $3.3 billion under management, billions off from what the platform actually had in assets. Rather than just alleging that Chainalysis' audit was inadequate, the plaintiffs claim that Chainalysis was effectively in on the scam. As the complaint states, Chainalysis, a supposed authority in blockchain analytics, knew the truth but willingly lent its credibility to the insiders' lies, misleading both the public and Celsius. To make their point, Celsius chronicles how the platform's fraudulent AUM, which is the assets under management, was calculated based on public and internal information. According to the complaint, Celsius head of AML, anti-money laundering, first used the software to calculate an AUM of $1.1 billion. Days later, Chainalysis co-founder Jonathan Levin appeared in a promotional video together with the Celsius founder, touting Chainalysis' ability to analyze data and enhance transparency in the crypto space. But in the video, Mashinsky, the founder of Celsius, claims that Celsius had $1.6 billion in asset management, over $400 million more than the first audit. But rather than correcting Mashinsky, Levin acknowledged the statement. It goes on. So basically, they kept just reporting inflated totals for the assets under management that weren't actually in line with what they actually had. And they were using that fraudulent figure to pump the price. So they kept doing that, and then it goes on to say the announcement of Celsius's audit made the CEL coin skyrocket, jumping from $2 in November 2020 to over $8 in June 2021. But instead of legitimate market purchases, the close to only entity trading CEL was Celsius itself, with Celsius founders using customer funds to offload their personal token holdings in the Celsius platform. The press release, according to the complaint, was the jet fuel that the insiders' fraud needed. So, in collusion with Chainalysis, Celsius was using that, quote-unquote, transparency that Chainalysis was providing to just pump their bags further. It, convinced investors that everything was, okay, but they were just selling their bags because they knew it was all fraudulent. Completely corrupt. And it's insane, too, because Chainalysis is buddy-buddy with everyone in government right now, and they are openly committing fraud. This reminds me back during, the housing crisis where, you had these junk bonds being given, these, super high ratings when they were just, complete crap, right? It's all corrupt, complete garbage. And this company, Chainalysis, they're throwing people in jail. It's fucking sick. So yeah, I think the complaint is out there if you want to read it yourself. I mean, this is just par for the course. We saw this too a couple of weeks ago where Chainalysis put out a revision of their estimate for the illegal funds, and they were off by $500 million. And then like that's what the revision was. Oh, it's actually $500 million more. This isn't just like, a couple $1,000s. It's like $500 million are off. And here, yet again, their projections are completely off from what this company actually has. And frankly, they're probably completely fraudulent. But this is the key source the government is leaning on for their blockchain surveillance. What does that tell you? This is garbage. And what scares me is like, if they are just like making shit up as they go, I mean, someone just being tangentially associated with something like Monero is just going to get accused of committing crime, Or with Bitcoin, you're tangentially next to a coin join. Well, that means you must be a criminal. So anyways, this is the latest in the grift of the blockchain surveillance companies. It's the grift that just never ends. But here's the good news. If these companies keep getting sued, and I believe they will, because like a lot of different companies have been getting screwed over by Chainalysis. If they keep getting sued, eventually something's going to break, because they're pretty much blatantly committing fraud from what it looks like. And once one of these companies goes down, a lot of these other companies are going to go down with it. Furthermore, if Chainalysis ends up losing, it's going to look really bad on all these government politicians or the lobbyists who are promoting Chainalysis. They're all going to look really, really bad, I would assume. In these stablecoin hearings that we had with Looney Lummis, I talked about like a month ago, they're like openly talking about Chainalysis, right? So like this company that they're leading on, they keep turning up as like committing fraud. And I didn't even really talk about the Bitcoin fog case, where they were also just reaching in that case. And it's very likely that they just made shit up in that case. And you have a guy there serving time because of it. So I'm hoping Chainalysis eats total shit on this one. We shall see, though. We shall see.